I must first of all take the opportunity to commend the ministry for having such a forum and affording the youth of Grenada and St. David the opportunity to raise issues that affect them. In today's society, the problems faced by youth of our country can take many forms. Oftentimes it is believed that youth from broken families and from the low economic brackets are the ones most vulnerable to these problems. But it is increasingly evident that the problems faced by youth do not discriminate when it affects individuals. Some of these problems are a generation gap between parents and the children and other members in the community. Abuse at home, we speak of emotional, physical, sexual, and psychological abuse. The cyber, the internet, the addiction that youth tend to face, the Facebook, the Twitter, etc. The lack of love that youth tend to feel that they are not getting from the home. The drug use, which would include here drinking and smoking. Underage sex, child abuse, peer pressure, and competition in general among peers. Stress on a whole. Since there is a generation gap between parents and children, and even child abuse at home, mixed with heavy peer pressure and competition among teens and youth, youth tend to feel stressed, and in order to relieve this stress, they turn to drinking and smoking, running away from home, concentrating on the internet and those games, mixed with the fact that they might want to find love away from the home. They start to form relationships with friends in school, in society, etc., which result in underage sex. Poor results at school are often the effect of the above mentioned reasons. The problems youth face tend to be correlated. For example, I leave school or I may drop out from school, which will in turn mean I will tend to be unemployed. Added to the fact there's a lack of opportunities for youth development, which has led youth to turn to the easiest way to gain money. What is that? The sale of drugs. Acting as drug mules. Further to that, I am not working in the day. What am I going to do? I'm going to line on the block. I'm going to hang out with my friends. And what we'll do in that time, we'll cook, we'll interact, we'll all talk. What is happening there is that we are going to develop a close bond. And so simple, we have our gangs developing. Crime and violence, substance abuse, and sexual activities will all fall in line thereafter. We oftentimes hear the old people say, youth, they're no good. And I wonder, are these people blind? Are they blind to the fact that yes, and I know that there are youth out there who are trying to break the cycle of poverty, drug, abuse, ignorance, addiction, peer pressure, and the list continues. In St. David, we have a number of youth who are qualified, yet they are unemployed or underemployed. They are denied scholarship in the area that they desire. Oftentimes, youth will tell you that they will go to the youth desk, they will go to a number of areas, apply, and they will get back to them, and they are still waiting. These scholarships in some instances are given to persons who have yet to return to serve the country. Yet we see those who have worked and endured, made the sacrifices, while paying their own way, return right back here in St. David, right back here in Grenada to serve. Mind you, Our youth in Grenada are not failing the system. The system is failing our youth. And you know what is ironic? The youth that are left holding the short straw are the ones that are going to lead us out of the nightmare that our country is facing. I implore you to give young people, give our generation a chance, and trust me, we are going to surprise you. This is evident in the fact that over the years, the Ministry of Youth Empowerment and Sports, and I bring in sports here, have not seen it fit to merge effectively sport, which is the greatest force in youth transformation and youth empowerment. This was done in Uganda through the Education for All program entitled Sport for Youth Development. I know that there are efforts to merge sport and youth development, but in my opinion, it can be done on a larger scale. Barack Obama, who we all love, once said, we have an obligation and a responsibility to be investing in our students and our schools. We must make sure that people who have the grades, the desire, and the will, but not the money, get the best education and opportunities there. It pains me to see the discrimination our youth are faced with because they attend schools in the parish, in the outer parishes, put it this way. The lack of respect that schools face from members of society because they are not part of the elite bunch. You may wonder, what point am I making? But let me be clear. The country school versus town school philosophy that is being perpetuated by society has caused serious effects in the mind and self-esteem of the youth that are schooled in this parish. They frequently hold the notion that they are not good enough to compete with certain institutions, a notion that was fueled by the actions and statements from prominent members of society, and that can bring us back to the recently held Grenada debate. When schools from St. David are making efforts with persons in certain ministries and organizations, and they are turned away with a statement that we are supporting and we are assisting other schools already. And investigations will show it's all the schools in St. George's. St. David's have always been big on culture and sports on a whole. Still, we are yet to see proper or more developed sporting facilities in this parish. And despite the lack of resources, it is clear to anyone who desires to look largest on any given day, Saturday, all the days, even on Sundays, the parishioners who will undergo the limited facilities despite the lack of support. Youth, the factor that affects us the most is ourselves. We are the ones to go after what we want. The opportunities are there for our development, but we will not find out what are these opportunities if we continue to sit on our dear ears. Opportunities do not come to people. People have to go out to them. The government, Ministry of Youth, can provide the opportunities, carry it to us on a golden platter. They can put these opportunities in our hands. From there on, it's up to us. As a youth, we are all born creative by nature. Remember those stories we used to tell naturally when we were growing up? Being able to sit with our parents and just tell stories, just make up a story. And you know what normally happens? From then on, we start being shut down. Child, hush your mouth. Stop it there. What you need to talking? Remember those times when we used to just stand and hold the bed and just dance naturally without any music being played. And then what our parents would tell us, sit down, stop that shooting is there. Remember how we could just do things by just seeing our parents doing one thing or the other. But what happened to us? By the age of 11, 12, 13, we all want to be like someone else. We want to follow the cartel, the popcorn, the Movado. We want to rep the gully, the Gaza. Why can't we rep a Grenada and have our own sign? Why can't we rep the place where we come from? But we continue to rep the Gaza, the gully. But hear what? A popular song tells us. They are look on the gully side, yeah. Didn't see anything fit smile about. And yet for as youth, we continue to represent with all signs and the colors on Facebook. Every picture we take, we have to put a sign attached to it. Where do we want to go? What is important to note, it is much more than being a farmer. You're out to help people. Make this little part of the world farmable and productive. Make your streets